Hello, my name is Lord Surtr and I'm here with a Caldari level 4 mission solo tier list. So, this has been a long time coming, so let's just get into it. There are a few terms and conditions though, so I'll go over them real fast. So based on my testing, which I try to do as objective as possible, for solo level 4 security missions. Solo. Bits are a reasonable price. No more than 3 warpouts have been allowed. There were no implants used in the testing at all at any point. And also, these fits do not apply to burners. Most ships work in groups though. Even the ones that fail peace tests, they do work in groups. Groups change everything. So without further ado, let's get into the actual tier list. Okay, so let's start with the lowest of the lowest, the D tier in this case. So D for me means doable. It can run the mission. Just, it will be slow and it may not be great. So the first one in the D tier would be, let me find it, so many ships, 20, the Ferox. Now the Ferox is a Tech 1 battlecruiser. The positives for the Ferox are pretty damn simple. It's a sniper. If you want to run missions with this, I would strongly suggest fitting railguns. I use the afterburner macro jump drive to just snipe from a distance, jump, get the hell out when they get too close so you cannot tank anymore, and repeat essentially. So the negatives obviously are Tech 1 battlecruiser, Tech 1 resists, weak tank. Skill requirements to get into, I would say, are low. Skill requirements to be very effective in missions with this thing are at least medium. The fits are, of course, there's only one that I could get away with, the rail sniper with the gem drive. My honest conclusion for this one is, unless your skills are high, this might be a good ship for level 3s, not 4s. So the next one would be the attack battlecruiser, the Naga. And the Naga, well, if the Ferox was set up as a sniper, the Naga is the ultimate sniper. It is a attack battlecruiser, has good DPS, excellent range, but the negatives are it has weak tank, it has bad tracking, and also 0 drones to deal with the frigates. If frigates get too close, you will not track them, you will not kill them, you will be there forever. So it needs to be at range to use the tracking and the railguns essentially. So it needs the jump drive, and it does not have room, because it's a shield tank mainly, it does not have room for an afterburner plus a jump drive. So the skill requirements for the Naga for level 4s I would say are at least medium. Good gunnery skills, please. It is set up as a rail sniper with a macro jump drive, and that's the only fit I got working. I did try the blaster version. Honestly, the blaster version is just not working. It cannot tank. It cannot tank. Just it's not a brawler. It plays like the ultimate sniper, but it has to run when things get close to it. So the next one would be the Scorpion. Now, the Scorpion right here is a truly unique battleship. It's a Tech 1 battleship, but it is the only one of its kind. It is the only electronic warfare focused battleship in the game. The only one. So the positives for the Scorpion are the fact that, well, it's a battleship, so it can probably take a bit of punishment, and that are the positives. I couldn't come up with any reason to fly this ship. The negatives, the DPS on the regular Scorpion is very low, and the skill requirements are also low, of course, but even with high skills, not suggested. The fit that I used that I could run missions with, even though incredibly slow, was the passive shield tank cruise missile fit. So my conclusion for this ship is essentially average tank, very low DPS for a battleship, and why don't you just fly a Raven? So the next one would be the Force Recon ship. That would be the Falcon. This one right here. So the Falcon is a Force Recon ship, has the positives for the Falcon. One single thing. It has Tech 2 resistances. That's it. So the tank is weak. It has the lowest DPS of all the Recon ships, even when you fit blasters, which is what you have to do to even make a dent in anything. The skill requirements are high. The blaster 10 MN shield tank Falcon is a fit that I would go for, although I would avoid the ship entirely for level 4s. It is weak and it is very much not fun to fly. If you like a challenge for the sake of a challenge, go for it. I would say in general, avoid this ship for missions and PvE. It's also not designed or meant for it, clearly, but that's beside the point. Alright, so from here on we'll move to C tier, because those were all the ships in D tier, 4 ships for the Caldari. So C tier, the first one I would have to say is the straight up upgrade from the Ferox. That would be the Ferox Navy issue. This one right there. So the Ferox Navy issue is a faction battlecruiser. Tech 1 resists again. So it has good railgun DPS. And if you compare this to the Ferox, it is in every way an upgrade. A little bit more tank, a little bit more DPS. The negatives are, of course, it still only has an average tank. Skill requirements are low. And the fit that I went with is a rail fit on this thing. I still use it as a medium long range sniper, because with blasters it just does not tank enough. So good medium to long range sniper, decent tank, you can run the mission with this. So the next one in the C tier would be the all-time favorite for anybody who remembers the old game called Drake Online, when every single mission runner in New Eden, or every 2 or every 3 mission runners out of 4 were Drakes, because they were so overpowered, so they had to do something about it. So now it actually, in my opinion, sits at a very good spot. It sits at a comfortable C tier. Yes, this thing can actually run most, if not all, level 4 missions. For the harder missions, you do need a bit of skill. So this is a Tech 1 battlecruiser. It is very cheap to fly, and it has an excellent passive tank, which is what the Drake is also renowned for. It has decent DPS, but not great. The skill requirements are very low. The fits that I used were the passive heavy missile launcher fit, which was the one that performed the best. There are other options, because I did try plenty of fits. I abused it like with a micro warp drive, active tanked heavy assault missile fit. It's more fun to fly, it's more active, but it also requires more skills than a passive tanked fit. So it is essentially a very good starter to get into missions. It is not great at anything, but it is average at most things, which is also perfect essentially. So the next one might be a bit of a surprise to some. Because I would have to go with a Tech 2 hull here. I would have to go with the Vulture. Yes, command ship. Tech 2 resists and everything. So, the positives for the Vulture is it has a very good tank. And you can fit double command links on this. The negatives are the low DPS. The skill requirements for this are very high, being a command ship. The fits, essentially, let's say I used a real 10mm micro jump drive sniper, similar to the other hulls of the Ferox line, simply because the blasters are such short range that you're almost never going to use them, because it takes so long to get into range, and if you have enemies that kite away, well, what do? Kite forever? The conclusion for me for this ship is I was surprised by the Vulture, honestly. You will definitely survive, you will not die in this thing, but it might take quite a while to kill everything. The next ship in the C tier is one that I had a lot of fun with, honestly. It's a heavy assault cruiser, and that would be the Eagle. Although the Eagle I would probably put above the Vulture. Not that they're ranked in order, by the way, I'm just putting them there as I go through them, because also ranking them within their tiers is, I suspect, heavily opinion based, and I don't really want to get into that too much. So the Eagle is a heavy assault cruiser, it has decent DPS with the rails, and if you have high skills, blasters can be incredibly fun, but squishy. I mean, the ship is not excellent at brawling, but with blasters you would have to kind of move in and out depending on what your tank says. With blasters this thing requires a lot of piloting, but believe me, it is worth it and it is a lot of fun. I did the test with blasters, and the negatives are the tank is on the weaker side. Skill requirements, it being a hack, I would say medium, especially when you really rely on your gun skills as well. So the 10mm rail and the 50mm blaster fit is what I ran with. So it is a good sniper with medium skills. Blasters are fun with high skills. And last but not least in the C tier would be the Rook. This is the other combat recon ship for the Caldari. This is a decent tank, has good DPS with heavy assault missiles and decent DPS with heavy missiles. But it needs high skills to shine. It needs all the DPS it can get. So yes, the skill requirements are high. The fits that I tested were the heavy assault missile 10mm and the heavy missile 10mm shield tank Rook. I had fun with this, but it's not a good ship for missions. It is a decent ship. So this is actually a usable recon ship, and it does the mission. And that for me concludes my C tiers. So now we're gonna move up to the B tier. So the B tier has plenty of other ships. So I'm gonna start with the Cerberus. The heavy assault cruiser. Good DPS, decent tank, works with heavy assault missiles and heavy missiles. Technically rapid lights work as well, but yeah, the reload is just, and the range is not that great, so I don't know. It's not as fun. So the negatives for this ship would be the missile range isn't great. And yes, those are all the negatives I could come up with. So the skill requirements are medium. The fits that I tested was the heavy assault missile 10mm shield tank fit, of course, and the heavy missile 10mm shield tank fit. Maybe you can get away with a micro warp drive combined with the heavy assault missiles, but it will eat into your fitting resources and capability in case you want it. So, solid pick, good ship, Definitely runs the mission quite well. It is a suggested ship. And next up, also in the B tier, and again, these are not within their tiers according to power level, because I'm gonna get crucified for putting a Drake Navy issue in the same tier. But with the Drake Navy issue, I had a lot of fun. It is a good ship. It's a faction battlecruiser. It is 100% straight upgrade from the Drake again, as it should be. It has a good tank, it has decent DPS, and it can launch a flight of medium drones. The negatives are, same as a Drake in a way, slow. It's a slow ship. Skill requirements are low. So the fits that I used are the heavy missile active shield one and the heavy missile passive shield Drake. I didn't bother with the heavy assault missiles here, but I'm sure it works just as with the regular Drake. It just requires more skill to fly, more skills in your skill points. And it is a direct upgrade from the Drake, and it is better in every single way. Next up would be the heavy interdiction cruiser, the Onyx. Now the Onyx has a very strong shield tank, Tech 2 resists also, but you can fit a lot on this thing. It has good DPS with heavy assault missiles and with heavy missiles. The negatives are no drones on this one, no drone bay. Skill requirements are high. So I tested two fits for this. I tested the heavy assault missiles with a micro warp drive and the heavy missiles with an afterburner. Both are fine, both are the missions, both are fun to fly. So this is a great ship, an excellent missile boat with a strong tank. This is one that can definitely do the mission. And then we have, yes, you knew it was coming, the Raven. The Raven is a Tech 1 battleship. It is a absolute fantastic sniper with cruise missiles. You can use it with torpedoes as well, but then you're gonna go closer range, so you will have to tank more. So I would suggest only going there when your torpedo skills are high enough and when your shield tank skills, battleship skills are a little higher. I wouldn't go torpedoes with low skills. Cruise missiles you can get away with lower skills because you're gonna be at the range most of the time, using your long range to kill everything before they get to you. The negatives are it has a weak tank, but of course if you're far enough away they don't hit you, so you don't need to tank. Skill requirements low, medium for torpedoes. Fits that I tested were the cruise sniper with a jump drive and an afterburner, the rapid heavy missile with again afterburner jump drive, and the torpedo jump drive afterburner as well with higher skills. The torpedo one was fun but could be annoying versus lots of frigates. I would say my conclusion for the Raven is very simple. If you want to get into missile ships, Caldari, mission running, maybe you're kind of eyeing the Golem a little bit, go for a Raven. One of my major ships for the Caldari that I suggest for mission running is a Raven. A Raven is where it starts. A Raven is just great. So the next one is going to be a ship that is a Black Ops. So for the next ship we're going to be looking at the Widow. Now the Widow is a Black Ops battleship. Widow I had a lot of fun with. It's still one of my more favorable mission runners. It has good DPS with cruise and rapid heavies as well. It has an absolutely phenomenal passive shield tank. Because also it gets Tech 2 resists, being a Tech 2 battleship, so it's amazing. The negatives are essentially very simple. It is bloody expensive. It's a Black Ops ship, it's a Tech 2 battleship, and I don't believe it was intended for PvE, so yeah, it may be a little bit more pricey than it needs to be if you look at missions. Skill requirements, obviously it's a Black Ops. they're high. So the fits are the cruise passive shield tank and the rapid heavy missile passive shield tank. So this is, in my opinion, the best Black Ops to use for missions. It's good DPS and it has a great tank, but it's expensive. So the next up would be the Scorpion Navy issue. If you really want to use a Scorpion, use this one, right? This is a faction battleship. It has decent DPS and decent tank. The negatives, well, it's a very slow ship, essentially. You don't want to put a micro warp drive on this because it will blow up your signature, and this thing only has a decent tank. So yeah, skill requirements are low. The fits that I tested this with are cruise missiles, passive shield tank. So this is an average ship with average tank and average DPS. It will do the mission. But I suggest, if you want to use a Caldari mission battleship, missile battleship, Raven. Forget the Scorpion Navy, Raven. And if you really want a Navy ship, look to the A tier, we'll cover it there. So the last one is honestly a absolutely phenomenal looking ship. And you should never fly this without the perma-band skin if you can get your hands on it. This is, of course, the Rogue. So the Rogue is a fantastic, but okay, this is a little bit of opinion, sorry. I find it a very good looking battleship. It is a fantastic sniper with rails. It has incredible range with rails. It has a rather weak tank. I also use this with blasters. I have a blaster fit that works really well. It's a lot of fun to fly. But as with several ships in the list, if you use blasters, you better have better skills. And you know how to pilot your ship, and you know when you need to start preparing to get out. Negatives are it has a weak tank, and it is a medium skill requirement ship, high skill requirements with blasters. So the fits that I've used for this one are the Rail Sniper Micro Gem Drive or the Blaster Micro Warp Drive fit. So this is the ultimate sniper, or a very awkward brawler with a lot of fun attached, but it is best used as a sniper. So that brings me to the A tier, with 4 ships remaining. So the A tier, the first one that I would put there is the Nighthawk. Like, the Nighthawk is the other command ship for the Caldari. The Nighthawk has an excellent tank, and essentially this is also like a line Drake Navy issue Nighthawk. This is the top of the line. Tech 2 resists, good DPS, not great but good DPS, excellent tank. This thing of course suffers a bit from high skill requirements. The fit that I went with is a heavy missile launcher passive fit, but yes, you can actually active tank this as well. It is possible. Any ship with a passive tank can also be active tanked. Not always better. It is more active, but this is essentially a great command ship with a good tank and good DPS. This is overall good ship. A tier is where I would say are the better ships to run the missions. So the next one in the A tier is something that everybody knew was coming. Of course, now that there are only a few remaining, very hard to guess. A Raven Navy issue. So the Raven is, in my eyes, the go-to as a missile battleship for Caldari. This is the upgrade. This is a faction battleship. This is a great cruise sniper, good DPS, good range, but where the Navy issue shines over the Raven is, this thing gets an extra application bonus. So this applies even better. It has a decent tank, which is listed that as a negative, because a decent tank is not good enough to be top of the line. But the skill requirements are still low, medium for torpedoes as always. So I've tested this with 3 different fits. That would be the cruise sniper, the rapid heavy missile launcher micro jump drive, and the torpedo micro jump drive with higher skills. This is the go-to for missile mission running, even better than the Raven. But it's not the best one. There's one that does it better. So the next one. Yes, this is our last and best cruiser for the Caldari, the Tengu. And the Tengu is a very interesting cruiser. It is a strategic cruiser, which basically means that you can adjust this, and it's like a puzzle box, like a matchbox where you can put stuff together and remove it. And just strategic cruisers have the unique opportunity where you can remove the rigs as well for free. They don't get destroyed. You can switch everything around on the ship. So this thing has an excellent tank. It has great DPS with missiles, both heavy assault missiles and heavy missiles. You also have, if you switch out the subsystem, the option to use hybrid guns. So hybrid guns are not as powerful as the missiles on the ship. With the rails you can make a pretty good sniper out of this, but your DPS will not be as great and your tracking will not be super. With blasters, well, you're very short range. You're gonna have to kite a long time. You're gonna have most of your time in missions spent moving towards your target. The negatives on this one is there is no subsystem that can give the Tengu any flight of drones, so you never have any drones, which is also a reason why I favor missiles over hybrid guns. In general, when a ship doesn't have a drone bay, I favor missiles, because missiles always apply at least something. Guns can miss or not track, so I always favor missiles over guns in that situation. Skill requirements are high, but you can adapt this ship according to the skills that you have. And that's the major part of it. So the fits that I've used and tested, there are a few. The 10 MN afterburner heavy missile fit, the 100 MN afterburner heavy assault missile fit. You can fit 100 MN on this as well. A 50 MN micro warp drive blaster fit, a 100 MN afterburner rail fit, and a 50 MN micro warp drive heavy assault missile fit. And there are, I'm sure there are even more fits you can put on this. So this is a excellent tank, has an insane number of different fits and versions, and they all run well. They can all do the missions. For PvE, I would suggest missiles are my recommendation. But that means there's only one ship remaining, and it is in S tier. You probably guessed it before I even started. It is the Golem. Now the Golem is a Marauder, and a Marauder is, I would argue, Battleship and below. For PvE it is the pinnacle. If you want to work to, but I don't like to use the word objectively, but I believe this might objectively be the best Caldari mission run. It is a Marauder. It has Bastion, the excellent module called Bastion, and it's not overpowered, which is what I almost said, because it does have disadvantages. One, you cannot move. Two, you cannot warp out. You're stuck. That's a major one. But it does boost your shield tank, your shield booster, and believe me, a shield booster with a Bastion active, it repairs a lot. This has an insane shield tank if you want it to. This also has great DPS, the best DPS with cruise missiles, rapid heavies and torpedoes, depending on which one you want to fit. But if you fit cruise, this one has a special fit, which some people used to use because it's essentially a lazy fit. It's the auto-targeting cruise missile ship. And all you need to do is push F1 and it will enter the whole clip. The one downside is you cannot control what you kill, and it might kill all the triggers in sequence. It's a risk you will have to take. The negatives are it cannot move while in Bastion, and then it's the only negative. No, there's one more negative, but that's for any missile ship. Delayed damage application. But if you're solo, it doesn't matter. If you're in group and there are turret ships, you're gonna know exactly what I mean. You're gonna feel the pain. Skill requirements are high, so I've tested this with a cruise missile 500 MN micro dive fit. I've also used the rapid heavy missile launcher 500 MN fit and the torpedo fit with also a 500 MN. You can also use an afterburner on this. You're stuck in place most of the time. You're not really gonna move anyway, and if you go for cap stability with this, make sure your propulsion module does not count, because you're not going to be using it in Bastion anyway. This is for me the pinnacle of missile PvE and the ultimate Caldari mission ship. So those are all the ships. This is the finished tier list. So yeah, let's move on. Thank you if you made it this far into the video. You can find me on Twitch as well, under Lord Surtr. And if you have any remarks or you disagree with any of the tiers, or that I assigned certain ships, or you have extra suggestions or comments, or please let me know in the comments down below. Please like and subscribe. That matters a lot to me, and I'll be putting the tier lists into one playlist and making it easier to find. So thanks for watching. I will see you next time. Surtr out.